With most temperate species, the best time to repot is just as the buds are about to open. With this tree, the leaves are already open and they're starting to transpire, placing pressure on the roots to supply water. If we now come in and repot and prune those roots, we're putting stress on the system. I can see daylight between the two main trunks. Do you know what? I think there is potential to split this trunk down the middle and create two separate trees. Let me know what you think. What would you do? One tree or two trees? As it is, it's pretty epic. But I mean, if I split it into two, they would also be pretty cool trees in their own right. In the UK, we have a second winter. We tend to get this mild spell, mid to late winter, where it feels like spring, plants start waking up, and then bang, just when we think it's time to get going and spring is kicking in, along comes the second winter, freezing temperatures, and then we think, maybe I shouldn't repot. But of course, the plants that have started growing are well underway then. So your options are to do the repot as it's about to leaf out at the optimum time from the tree's perspective and then deal with any freezing temperatures, or you hold off, wait for the cold spells to pass and hope that the tree can recover from any root work despite being potentially in leaf. Which is best? My preference is to do what the tree's telling me and then put up with the fact that there may well be freezing weather before the spring hits. It's best practice to protect a tree after it's been repotted. Freezing temperatures can cause issues such as dieback in the branches or lost ramification. So I'm going to have to do the bonsai shuffle having repotted this tree, knowing that there's going to be frosty weather to come. My inconvenience is worth the benefit that it gives to the tree working to its rhythms. In fairness, I don't think I'm going to be able to separate it. There's a vein that starts off on one side of the trunk and crosses over to the other side, so I don't think I'm going to be able to separate it without doing a major cutback. Also, I think it's pretty epic as one tree, but the guys over on the Bonsai UK Discord server have pointed out that this could make quite a nice cascading tree. What do you think? Comment below. It's important to get this black soil out. It holds too much water and not enough oxygen for beautiful fine roots. So by replacing it with bonsai soil, I can get some gorgeous root development. And though all those fine roots are going to be able to support lots of beautiful fine branching, increasing the sense of scale that we can achieve in the design. I'm also on the lookout for thick structural roots that can be on the surface of the soil, looking like the roots that grip the ground in a full-size tree, otherwise known as nabari. To sell the illusion of an ancient tree gripping the ground, I want the roots to come away from the trunk and bury into the soil. This one, however, is coming up and back towards the trunk, So I'm going to cut this one off. And some of these thinner roots that are growing from the top of this thick one, I will leave in place just in case that root's no longer alive. Right, that's enough Nabari work done. I can see where the structural roots are. Now I'm going to come underneath and get rid of the rest of that black soil. There's no black soil under there. I must have done a good job last time. I'm blocking off some of the pot with some wood so that the root ball isn't going to be swamped with too much cold, wet soil. One thing on my mind with going cascade is that some of these branches down here are already weak. By positioning them down, they're going to be even more shaded and potentially grow even weaker, whereas these are really strong. Am I going to struggle to keep these branches alive when they're facing downwards so much? To avoid overpotting, which is where there's too much soil for the roots to occupy in a container, I've removed this section of the pot to make way for the soon to be horizontal trunk. This thick root is just making it a bit of a tight squeeze in the pot, so I'm going to work the soil back and maybe cut back to a side root. The next challenge is going to be securing it in the pot. Because the tree wants to tip over like this, I need to apply leverage downwards to secure it. If the tie-down wires are attached to these roots here, because of the shallow root system, it's going to pull straight down. That's going to put a lot of pressure on these roots, which are already showing a bit of flex in there. I need some sort of support. How am I going to do this? Now I need somewhere to put my tie-down wires on these side structural roots. So I'll just try and find a hole, a way to get through there. Take up some of that slack, try to avoid any secondary roots as I tighten. It's those finer roots that do the work in terms of feeding the tree, so I prefer to avoid damaging them if possible.